My name is Lina Everett. I'm 28, and for as long as I can remember, I've been the quiet one, the smallest one, the one everyone in my family spoke over as if my voice was just background noise. Even after I married into the Everett family, wealthy, respected, the kind of people Tulsa whispers about, I still felt like the outsider peeking in through the window. Being 8 months pregnant should have made me feel powerful, whole wanted. Instead, every day in that house reminded me just how disposable they believed I was. I tried to ignore the tension, the whispers behind doors, the way my mother-in-law's eyes followed me like I was something she needed to control. But the night everything shattered, the night she put her hands on me, was the moment I learned the truth I should have feared from the start. And nothing that happened after that felt real, not until the screaming started. The front gate clicked shut behind us. I clutched my belly as Elias took the last duffel from the car. The house loomed like it always had. White columns, black shutters, nothing out of place. It looked like a Southern Gothic postcard, clean and cold and pretending to smile. Lorraine Everett opened the door before we knocked. "You're early," she said, stepping aside without hugging either of us. "I didn't expect you until dinner." Elias gave her that boyish, apologetic smile. Didn't want to hit rush hour. The hallway smelled like lemon polish and expensive silence. Not a photo out of place. Not a speck on the floor. Every clock ticked in perfect sync, like even time was monitored. Nina stood at the top of the stairs, barefoot, black tank top, eyes locked on me like I'd stolen something from her. Her voice echoed down. "The nursery's not ready." I held my breath. Lorraine didn't flinch. "We'll make do." Make do. That's what I was now, something to tolerate. Dinner was formal. China plates, crystal glasses, napkins folded like we were hosting a senator. Lorraine spooned out chicken marsala without asking if I could eat spicy. Nina passed the bread like it might burn her fingers. Elias tried to make conversation. Tried. "So, nursery theme?" he asked me gently. I swallowed. "Earth tones. Natural wood. I'm trying to keep it simple." Nina scoffed. "Minimalist babies. Goo." Lorraine set her wine down. "In this house, we keep things in order. Even unexpected guests." Elias froze. I blinked. "You mean me?" I asked. Lorraine didn't answer. Sometimes silence is more violent than shouting. At night, Elias slept fast. I didn't. I got up to pee, again, and stood at the sink, brushing my teeth with the water running. The old mirror above the bathroom sink was spotted, old but clear enough. I stared at myself. Puffy, pale, tired. Then I saw it, a small, square mark on the upper wall, barely visible behind the crown molding. A slightly cleaner patch on the wallpaper, as if something had been mounted there, recently removed. I climbed on the closed toilet lid, reached up, a tiny drill hole, a camera. I stepped down so fast I almost fell, heart pounding, vision pulsing. I didn't tell Elias, not yet. The next morning I made tea, chamomile, quiet. Lorraine appeared in the doorway like smoke. "I saw you up late," she said. I didn't answer. "Sleep is crucial at this stage," she continued. "You're not just carrying a child. You're shaping a legacy." A legacy. She said it like the baby didn't belong to me at all. Elias walked in, kissed my forehead, and rubbed my belly. Lorraine's lips thinned. Her eyes sharpened like knives. He didn't see it, but I did. That look. The same one my mother gave my sister the day she learned I'd been accepted to NYU, and not her. They lied to me about everything. Morning light broke through the blinds in stripes, like prison bars. I stood at the edge of the kitchen island, one hand on my belly, the other gripping a chipped mug of cold tea. Lorraine was already seated, scrolling on her tablet like a CEO reviewing quarterly losses. "You were up again," she said without looking. "I couldn't sleep." "You need rest, Lina. You're growing a legacy, not just a baby. She used that word again. Legacy. Like I was an incubator wearing a wedding ring. Nina walked in barefoot, grabbed an apple, and took a bite loud enough to fill the room. You snore, she said flatly. I don't. You do now. I didn't respond. My heart rate was already climbing. The air felt tight, oxygenated control. Is Eli working from home today? I asked, pretending calm. He left early, Lorraine answered. Had to meet with the estate advisor. He didn't tell me. Men don't always remember everything, sweetheart. She said it like a joke, but I felt the blade under the sugar. Cut. I texted Eli. No answer. I checked the Find My app. Location not shared. He'd always shared it. Until today. Another cut. I went upstairs, into the guest room where we stored baby things. I opened the closet to grab the swaddle blankets. They were gone. I turned around. Nina stood in the doorway, eating that same damn apple. Looking for something. The blankets were here. I moved them. The pattern gave me migraines. You touched the baby stuff? She shrugged. It's not really yours yet, is it? My chest tightened. What the hell does that mean? But she was already gone. Downstairs, I opened my laptop, checked the clinic's website, logged into my patient portal. Access denied. Invalid credentials. I reset the password. Tried again. My file was gone. I froze. Called the clinic. A receptionist with a chipper voice said, Oh, Lina Everett? Yeah, we have you listed at the Midtown OB/GYN now. Your file was transferred last week. I never requested a transfer. Well, it was signed by someone. Let me guess. Says here, Dr. Solis. That wasn't my doctor. I want that reversed. Unfortunately, once a transfer is processed, only the receiving clinic can initiate reversion. You'll have to call them. Click. Another slice. Deeper. Eli finally texted me. Running behind. All good. I typed. Why did you transfer my medical records? No answer. I dropped the phone. My hands shook. I breathed in. Out. The walls felt closer now. Thicker. Like they were listening. Sometimes the silence is louder than the scream. That night, I asked Lorraine point blank, Did you request my records to be moved? She didn't look up from her wine. I don't meddle in medical matters. But someone did. She smiled. Pregnancy can be disorienting. Makes the mind see threats where there are none. Why are you always watching me? Because you're in my house. Cold. Steel-edged. She stood and walked away. The room smelled like sour grapes and old rage. Cut to black. Midnight. Toilet flush. I washed my hands and heard it, soft, rhythmic, mechanical. Beep, beep, beep. I followed the sound down the hall. Stopped outside the locked office. Slid a paperclip under the handle. Click. Inside. Rows of filing cabinets. A locked drawer left slightly ajar. I pulled it open. Inside, Lorraine's old medical files. Therapy logs. Court-ordered evaluations. Subject has displayed obsessive-compulsive behavior centered around family control. Believes offspring must conform to legacy. A yellow sticky note on top. Do not let Lina's name appear on the final deed until post-delivery. My stomach dropped. I heard a creak. Turned. Nina stood behind me. You're not supposed to be in here. I was just. She stepped closer. People like you shouldn't snoop, especially when they haven't earned their place yet. I closed the drawer. She didn't move. Just smiled, like she was waiting for something, for me to break. Back in our room, Eli was finally home. Showered. Calm. Too calm. I called the clinic today, I said. He paused mid-button. Yeah. They said someone transferred my file. He hesitated. Mom thought Midtown had better care. You let her do that. She meant well. She's manipulating everything. She's just trying to help. I stared at him. He looked away. In that moment, I realized the scariest part wasn't that Lorraine was controlling everything. It was that Eli was letting her. The hallway light flickered once. Twice. I heard Lorraine's voice drifting up from the kitchen. You can't let her ruin this. Then silence. But I knew she wasn't alone. Someone's messing with my medical records, and they want me isolated. I started locking the bedroom door at night. Eli didn't ask why. Maybe he knew. Maybe he didn't want the answer. There's a kind of fear that sits in your chest like lead, quiet, heavy, but always ready to crush you when you move wrong. I had that fear now. It lived inside me, just under my ribs, next to the baby I was trying to protect. That morning, I found the nursery door locked. We never locked that door. I jiggled the knob. Nothing. Then I heard Lorraine's voice downstairs, firm, measured, almost too calm. She can't handle it, Eli. Look at her. The stress is affecting the baby. Pause. I'm doing what's best for the child. For the child. Not my child. Not their grandchild. The child. Words matter. Especially when people think you're not listening. I asked Eli that night, "Did you lock the nursery?" He didn't look up from his phone. Mom thought it was best. Best for who? You've been tired lately. Anxious. She thinks. No, I snapped. What do you think? He hesitated. Swallowed. I think maybe it's good to keep things calm. Just for a little while. I stood. Walked to the window. The road to hell was paved with good intentions, I said. That's not fair. No, Eli. What's not fair is carrying a child while being treated like a surrogate with no rights. He didn't reply. The next day, I made a call to the Midtown OBGYN. I want to cancel the transfer. Unfortunately, the receptionist chirped that would need to be done in person. Dr. Solis only accepts in-person verification. Fine, I'll come in. But when I arrived that afternoon, the front desk clerk frowned. Your appointment isn't until Friday. I'm not here for an appointment. I need to speak with Dr. Solis. She leaned in, dropped her voice. Are you Lina Everett? Yes. There's a note here you're not allowed to access records without written consent from your legal medical proxy. What? I never assigned a proxy. She flipped her screen around. A scanned document. Signature at the bottom. Eli Everett. I need a copy of that. I'm sorry, ma'am. That would violate your current status. I left the clinic with ice in my spine. Some people kill you with kindness. Others just sign you away. That night, I tore through Eli's briefcase. Insurance files, mortgage statements, bank printouts. Then, stuffed in the bottom, an envelope marked confidential legal estate. Inside, a copy of a trust document. Clause 17. Firstborn heir of the Everett bloodline shall inherit full residential rights and control over the Ravenhill estate, effective upon verified birth and an absence of disqualifying factors from maternal guardian. Disqualifying factors? I checked the signature line. Filed by Nina Everett. Signed by Eli. 6 months ago. You never told me about this, I said, holding the document in front of him. He froze. I didn't think it mattered. You didn't think giving Nina control over our child's inheritance mattered? It was symbolic. For Mom. For her legacy. Stop saying legacy. I was shaking. He tried to reach for my hand. I pulled back. She made you sign this. You just agreed. I was trying to keep peace. You handed her a weapon. I didn't think she'd use it. Then you're a fool. Or worse. You did. Cut scene. 3:02 a.m. I woke up to whispering outside the bedroom door. 2 voices. Lorraine. Lina. She's not stable. Once he's born, everything changes. I leaned closer. We file for custody within 72 hours. My knees went weak. They were planning this. It wasn't just paranoia. They weren't waiting for the baby. They were preparing to take him. Legally. Fully. Permanently. The next morning, Lorraine knocked once and entered without waiting. She held a mug of herbal tea. I made this for you. I stared. It helps with tension. The midwives used it back in my day. Thanks, I said, not touching it. She sat down across from me. You know, some women aren't meant to mother. They break. They panic. They run. I smiled. I'm not running. Then don't make us do something drastic. My jaw locked. Is that a threat? It's a warning. You should focus on resting. She stood, left the tea. I flushed it. You don't survive by drinking poison disguised as help. That afternoon, I stood in the hallway, watching Lina carry boxes into the nursery. I stepped closer. What are you doing? Reorganizing. You don't live here. She smirked. I was here first, and I'll be here after. She picked up a tiny blue onesie, folded it, placed it gently in a drawer, then looked me dead in the eye. He isn't yours, Lina. Not yet, and not if you don't play by our rules. I took one step forward. Say that again. But she didn't. She just smiled and shut the drawer. They don't see me as the mother. They see me as the vessel. I didn't sleep that night. I sat in the hallway outside the nursery, knees drawn up, one hand on my stomach, the other gripping the small black flash drive I'd stolen from Lorraine's desk. Found it taped underneath her drawer behind a fake bottom panel, like she knew it would be dangerous if someone saw what was on it. I didn't plug it in until morning. Eli had already left. Lorraine was tending the roses. Lina was God knows where. I closed the bedroom door, locked it, drew the curtains, slid the flash drive into my laptop. A folder popped open. Phase 2. Inside videos. Grainy night vision footage. Of me. Sleeping. Showering. Changing. Someone had installed cameras. In our bedroom. In the bathroom. My hands shook as I scrolled. Another folder. Medical. PDFs of my full health record. Lab results. OB notes. Even genetic screening documents. Files I never consented to release. Then I saw it highlighted in yellow. Inconclusive paternity. Recommend secondary testing. Risk of legal contestation under Oklahoma Code Section 7,700 to 608. My throat closed. They were preparing to challenge my rights. Not just emotionally. Legally. I didn't cry. I printed the document, folded it neatly, slipped it into my bra. Then I ran to the nursery. The crib was gone. So was the mobile. The soft yellow curtains had been replaced with blackout panels. All the baby clothes, diapers, wipes gone. In their place, a filing cabinet, a locked chest, a framed photo of Lorraine holding Eli as a baby. Not me. Not us. Just her. And what she owned. I confronted her in the kitchen. You moved everything. It's not a safe environment for a newborn. What did you do with the crib? She sipped her coffee. Calm. Icy. Lina. And I relocated it to a more suitable space. A more suitable space? Some rooms carry instability, emotional residue. I blinked. You mean me? If the shoe fits. I slammed the printed paternity note onto the counter. Explain this. Her eyes flicked to it. Brief. Unbothered. Genetics are messy. Mistakes happen. There was no mistake. You hacked my files. We accessed what was already ours. That's illegal. She smiled. You think anyone in this town will side with you over us? You're insane. She leaned forward. You are a temporary phase in a permanent lineage, Lina. You gave us a child, and soon your usefulness will end. Her voice didn't even rise. That was the scariest part. I packed a bag. Cash. Ultrasound photos. Phone. Flash drive. Tried to sneak out, but Nina was waiting by the garage door, blocking it. You're leaving? Yes. Where? Somewhere safe. For who? The baby. She stepped forward. Funny how you say the baby like he belongs to you. He does. You think so? She pulled out her phone, tapped a screen. A video played, me in the bathroom, crying, screaming, kicking the trash can. Looks unstable to me, she said. Are you seriously? You want custody, she whispered. You'll have to fight a court to get it. Then she leaned in. And you'll lose. I shoved past her, ran, down the hall. But Elias was already there, blocking the front door now. He looked tired, drained. Don't do this, Lina. You let them record me. I didn't know. Bullshit. I was trying to protect. You signed custody clauses. They're not real. They're legal. I saw the filings. Nina's name. Your signature. He rubbed his temples. Mom said it was just protocol. She's taking our child. Silence. Then he said the words that snapped me in half. He's not yours. Everything went still. What did you just say? He swallowed. Legally. Not until paperwork is complete. Custody registration. DNA confirmation. Medical approval. So that's what this is about. He didn't answer. I turned, started up the stairs. Then I heard the slam. The front door. I ran to the window. A black SUV was pulling into the driveway. A woman in a navy blazer stepped out. Clipboard. Badge. NAMA tag. Oklahoma Child Protective Services. Someone had filed a report. The black SUV idles at the curb. Headlights on. Engine humming low. I'm pressed against the window glass, breathing shallow. A woman in a navy blazer steps into the porch light. Badge clipped to her belt. She holds a folder. Her shoes click on the marble floor. Good evening. Her voice is calm, controlled. I step forward. I'm Lina Everett. I live here. She opens the folder. We received a report alleging unstable home environment. Baby safety. We need to see the nursery. Inspect the home. Eli pushes past me. Everything is fine. You can check. I swallow, but I don't trust him. Not anymore. Lights flicker in the living room. The air smells like bleach and old wood polish. A chandelier casts soft shadows, like silent watchers all around us. CPS woman walks slowly toward the nursery door. She pauses, fingers hovering over the knob. Moments ago, this door was locked, I say. My voice echoes. I don't look away. She turns. Her eyes narrow, slightly unsettled. Nina materializes behind her, smiling, fake concern stitched into her lips. She locks the door sometimes when the baby moves too much. Safety, Nina says, voice soft. It's a lie coated in false worry. The worker nods, then unlocks the door with a master key. Inside, an empty nursery. No crib, no mobile, no blankets. Just a filing cabinet and the locked chest, everything missing. The worker glances at me, then at the cabinet. Where are the baby items? She asks. Quietly. Silence. I feel adrenaline sharp as ice. I don't know, Eli says. We, relocated them until we renovate. The worker steps back, frown forming. She kneels near the cabinet and glances at the lock. Suddenly, the floor creaks. A camera light flashes behind the curtains. Hidden. Go lot wai hang loose. Employees behind them. Electronic, guts exposed like veins on ivory. CPS woman freezes. Something in her eyes changes. She stands, looks at me. Ma'am, do you consent to a search of the home? Cameras included. I nod. Cut scene, chaos. Nina lunges. Stop. You can't. But it's too late. Eli tries to pull her back. The social worker raises a hand. Ma'am, step back. Nina shrieks. Lorraine emerges from the hallway, carrying a bag. You promised, she stammers. But the social worker holds up a phone. Deputy Ramirez is on his way. That's evidence of surveillance and unauthorized recording of a pregnant woman. Nina drops the bag as though it burns. Lorraine steps forward slowly. My property rights, she starts. The worker cuts her off. You gave no consent. That's illegal under Oklahoma Statute 211730. You're under investigation. The chandelier light cracks. Glass shatters. Tiny shards rain over the floor. One glints near my bare foot. I jump back. The baby kicks hard like in warning. My breath slams into my lungs. I grip the flash drive tighter. Evidence. Sirens wail outside within minutes. Red and blue strobes paint the walls like wounds. Deputy arrives, tall, solid, professional. He nods at the worker, then at me. Ma'am, are you okay? He glances at the motionless figures in the hallway. Nina pressed against the wall. Lorraine held by another deputy. I swallow. Yes, but the baby, he's fine. He doesn't reply, just kneels near me. I need you to come with me. Hospital. For monitoring. I nod. I am suddenly dizzy. Eli reaches out. His face gray. Silent. I don't meet his eyes. Ambulance ride is blur. Flashing lights. Hard gurney bed. Cold sheets. Smell of antiseptic. I whisper through cracked lips. He's mine. I glance at my belly. The baby kicks again. Harder. Searing. I feel everything heavy. Then, a slap of medial gloves. A nurse leans over. Baby's heartbeat is strong. No signs of distress, but bed rest required. Relief hits me like water. I close my eyes. Cut to black. Hospital hallway. Neon lights humming. The social worker leaves a set of papers with me. Custody claims. Surveillance logs. Photographs of the hidden cameras. Medical files illegally transferred. The flash drive sits on the table like a bomb with a dead red timer. I pick it up. As I slide it in my pocket, Nurse Ramirez appears at the door. Mrs. Everett? There's a deputy at your door. He says property seizure order. My stomach drops, but I don't move, because now I'm awake, and I hold the proof. They gave her our child before he was even born. Sirens outside faded slowly. The deputies unshackled Lorraine and Nina before the cameras. The house smelled like bleach and betrayal. I stood in the foyer, the flash drive burning in my pocket. The CPS woman closed her file. A deputy sealed the filing cabinet for evidence. Eli hovered near the doorway. Tired bones, ashen face. He didn't dare look at me. A deputy offered a blanket. I shook my head. No warmth needed. Not anymore. Lights overhead flickered. The chandelier dangled. Glass shards glittered on the floor like dead stars. I stepped through them, barefoot. The soles of my feet tingled with cold and resolve. I didn't glance back. The world felt sharp, real. The hospital smelled of antiseptic and soft voices. I lay in a narrow bed, monitors beeping. Nurses moved in and out. The low hum of fluorescent lights filled the corridor. The baby kicked. Strong. Steady. A tear slid down my cheek. Welcome to the world, little rebel, I whispered. He was mine. Our secret. Our fight. Days later, in the courtroom, Lorraine stood with a lawyer. Nina was at her side, silent. The judge tapped the gavel. Evidence is overwhelming. Unauthorized surveillance, unlawful custody attempt, endangerment of a pregnant woman, custody and guardianship with Mrs. Lina Everett, effective immediately. The room gasped. Lorraine gasped. Nina gasped. I didn't. I closed my eyes. In that moment, I understood something simple. Justice didn't erase the scars, but it drew a line in the dust. Outside, the air felt like freedom. I carried my newborn son, wrapped in a soft blanket, head resting on my shoulder. Sunshine warmed us. Eli watched from across the sidewalk. He looked torn, guilt and relief warring behind his eyes. He reached out. I didn't take his hand. Not yet. Sometimes strength means walking alone. I found Marisol waiting by the car, her eyes red but firm. You did it, she said. I nodded. I tightened the blanket. He's yours, she whispered. And he was. I knelt. Let him touch the pavement with tiny fingers. Sand, sunlight, a future. Blood on the tiles never dries without light. I murmured soft to myself. He stirred. A gurgle. A promise. Weeks later, I stood before a small group, neighbors, doctors, social workers, even a reporter. The local paper had covered the case. I held a tiny onesie. My son, I said. He doesn't belong to a name on a paper. He belongs to survival, to love, to truth. Silence. Then a soft clap. Another. I felt something strong stir inside me, not fear, not grief, but something firm. Hope. At night, I rock the baby. He sleeps. I don't. Not yet. But I whisper to him sometimes, you are the line we drew, the legacy we rejected. And I mean it. No more secrets. No more shadows. The cameras torn down. The files shredded. The house abandoned. We moved far, to a small house on a quiet street. Neighbors greet us. Dogs bark. Kids play. Normal but precious. Sunlight filters through the curtains. Baby coos softly. I watch him. I breathe. I survive. And I live.